Hi, I'm Jeremy Boom, and this week all swim back swimmers ages 13 through 18 will be working through Chapter 2 of the Swim Your Best program on coachability. Now, we define coachability as your willingness to take instructions from others. It's the attitude that you have about letting someone else help you improve. And when it comes to the relationship between your child, the swimmer, and their coach, there's some variables that come into play, such as, do they like their coach? Do they trust them? Do they believe that their coach actually has their best interest in mind? Clear communication is also another factor during practice, during meets. So we've got a lot of different variables that come into there. Also though, we're going to ask your child some other questions about coachability that they'll have and they'll work through the book, such as their openness to receive advice in public versus their openness to receive advice from their coach in private. We'll look at their overall coaching attitude and they're intentionally applying feedback from your coach. So once they get the advice, do they actually turn around and try to take that advice and put it to good use?
Working with the athletes on this chapter, the one big thing that I got was trust. We really talked a lot about trust, and without that, it's really hard for those athletes to be totally coachable. They have to know through disappointments or success and take that leap of faith to really trust their coach that they're going to get them to that next step or that next goal or that next level.
So mom and dad at home watching this video right now, here's my challenge for you. Be aware that you greatly influence your son or daughter's ability to be coachable. And you do that in the form of the language that you use with your child, in the form of statements that you make and opinions that you have to your child about their coach. If you make statements that attack who that coach is, rather than the decisions that your coach makes about swimming and how that impacts your son or daughter, that's not a good thing. Because now you're putting your son or daughter in the middle between you and their coach. And they don't want to have to choose between either one. It's really hard for your son or daughter to be in the pool, swimming in at practice, knowing that you don't like their coach and you made some negative statements about them. They can't be coachable. It doesn't work. So here are two things that I want you to be aware of. Number one, be aware that assumptions don't work. Don't just assume that you know the reason why the decision that the coach made at the meet or at practice. Instead, seek first to understand the decision that they made. And number two, any conversation that you have with your son or daughter about their coach, do so in the form of questions, not in the form of statements, because that encourages your son or daughter to then go to their coach to ask them questions. That's all for Chapter 2. So I hope you talk about coachability this week with your son or daughter. And also remember, be the example of what coachability looks like for your son or daughter. Next time we come back, we're going to talk about Chapter 3 on how to stay focused when it counts the most.